Hello my dear students. In today's video we are going to understand the types of business letter. Previous video we have discussed on the elements that has to be included while writing a business letter. So now let us understand what are the different types and what are the content which we have to write based on the situation. So the art of letter writing is really essential for you all when once you all go into the professional life, because it has to be like a day-to-day task. That is, the letter writing is going to be like a day-to-day task for you all. So that is why it is really important to understand the types of letter and how you need to write it. So moving ahead towards the video, the first type is acknowledgement letter. I hope you all know about the acknowledgement letter, because this is a letter, or this is the title which is almost included in many of the books also. In fact, in your own textbook also you can find. So whenever you go across the acknowledgement page, it means that you can find a writer is thanking a person. Yes, exactly. Acknowledgement letter is a letter when you want to acknowledge someone for his or her help or support when you were in trouble, or you required that person's monetary help or guidance for the completion of some task. So this acknowledgement letter speaks volumes about the gratitude that you have. Thus, this letter can be used to thank for something you have received from someone which has been of a great help to you. So in your professional life, you would require to write this type of a letter quite often. So this is a thanking letter in short. I hope you all are clear with the meaning. And yes, one more thing I would like to remind you all, my dear student, the format of each and every type of letter I have sent you all on the Google Classroom. So when you watch this video, simultaneously cross check the format of the letter also. Format is same, but you need to just check the content. What are the content, what are the lines you have to include based on the topic of a letter. Then, letter of recommendation. Now what is the meaning of letter of recommendation? This type of a letter is written to recommend a person for a job position or admission in higher degree or a specialized kind of a study program. So the letter simply states the positive aspects of the applicant's personality, required skills, and how she or he would be an asset to the organization. Sometimes a letter of recommendation is even used for promoting a person in an organization. For an example, this type of a letter is mostly used when you are suggesting a person for any of the job position, and most of the times the format followed by this type of letter is full block letter format. So almost all the letter follows a full block format only, because every element is aligned on the left side. So your types of business letter, you have to just be aware with the concept and the content based on the topic of a letter. So now we are talking about the recommendation, that is letter of recommendation. So here it is clearly mentioned that this letter you are writing when you want to refer some person. For example, you are already in one company, ABC company, but you want your friend also to join that company. So during a interview, you're going to write a letter of recommendation to the interviewer, that is your boss, saying that so and so candidate is suitable for that position because that candidate has got the more effective and the efficient skill which is actually required for that position. So this way you will highlight about that person's qualifications, skills, and prove that that person is suitable and a perfect fit for that job. So you are referring your friend. That time that letter is called as letter of recommendation. Okay. The next type of letter is appreciation letter. Now looking at the word, I'm sure you all must be know understanding. I have already understood the meaning actually about the appreciation letter. So all human beings feel good when they are appreciated for their good work. Realizing its importance, an appreciation letter is written to appreciate someone's work in organization. This type of letter is written by superior to his junior. An organization can also write an appreciation letter to another organization thanking the client for doing business with them. So appreciation letter is when you are impressed by someone's work, then you are writing a letter to them by stating that their work was very impressive and you are happy with that. For example, you are working as a team leader in a company and one of your team member has worked really good. That time you can write a appreciation letter saying that their work was quite impressive enough and you are appreciating and appraising for their performance. So this is called as a appreciation letter. Next comes is the acceptance letter. Although you will often accept a job, often in person, it is a good gesture and a wise practice to formalize it with a letter. Begin your acceptance letter by thanking whoever has sent you the job offer and then make it clear that you have decided to accept it. Express how much you look forward to filling this new position and mention one or two aspects of the job you will especially enjoy. So here again you have to actually thank a person for offering you the job. You cannot directly go and sit in the company once you get the job offer. It's really very necessary that you have to write a acceptance letter or a acceptance email. That is really very important. The person will be really impressed by this kind of a behavior, because at the beginning it is your chance. You have to impress the superior in the organization so that you can actually make your position over there. So in the acceptance letter you have to say thank you for providing you the opportunity and considering you as a part of the organization. The next type is the apology letter. Apology letter, yes, as the name suggests, in the professional world, an apology letter is written for a failure in delivering the desired results. If the person has taken up a task and he or she fails to meet the target, then an apology is generally offered. This letter is also written if someone happens to have caused undue or undesirable inconvenience to somebody. This type of letter will help in patching up or alleviating and thereby saving the writer from spoiling the relation. And a sincere apology can go a long way towards winning back of a lost professional linkage. And a few occasions that warrant an apology letter are missing an appointment, missing a deadline, canceling and postponing an appointment, causing inconvenience to someone, and owing up responsibility for someone else's offensive or unacceptable behavior. And while writing such letter, we need to express a genuine sense of apology, express concern and unhappiness at the inconvenience thus caused to the reader, and promise to make up for the loss at the earliest opportunity. So the apology letter has to be really very sincere from your side, and it's really a good habit to cultivate a habit of writing an apology letter in case you are creating any sort of an inconvenience in workplace. Then the next is the complaint letter. Now, a complaint letter is written to tell someone that an error has occurred and that needs to be corrected as soon as possible. In business world, there are numerous situations which warrant a complaint or claim letter, as quite a few things go wrong several times. Like for instance, wrong billing of goods and services is done, then wrong goods are dispatched, customers are overcharged for the goods sent to them, and at times they receive the goods in the damaged condition. So there are many possibilities where you have to be ready for the complaint letter. And while writing a letter of this type, maintain a poised and a calm tone. Admittedly, we all feel angry when we have to suffer because of someone else's mistake. Even then, there is no point in blaming, accusing and being angry while drafting such a claim or a complaint letter. Hence the tone of complaint letter should not be aggressive or insulting, as this would annoy the reader and not encourage them to solve the problem. This is what the point which you have to specially keep in mind. Though it is a complaint letter, but you need to keep a proper tone and you have to maintain a proper context and frame this letter. Then the next one is the adjustment letter. Dealing with a complaint is usually not a very happy thing to do. Most of us feel bad at being found wanting in something. Professionalism, however, requires us to deal with complaints and claims in a manner that suggests maturity and clarity of approach. Thus, receiving a complaint can be blessing in disguise, as it may help us review our services and products and bring about an improvement wherever required. That is why a letter that deals with a complaint and a claim letter is termed as a adjustment letter. While composing an adjustment letter, keep in mind there are few points which you have to always keep in mind. That is, acknowledge the complaint immediately. Remember that the person on the other side has already suffered. Expecting him or her to wait any further for your reply could be seriously ridiculous, and your relationship with the customer might get spoiled. Even if you cannot give a full reply, send an interim response assuring him for the further action at your earliest possible. And generally, customers make complaints only when they cannot cope with the things at their end. Thus, handling complaints requires sympathy and consideration, as the chances are that the customer is right in his or her claims. And once you understand that the fault lies at your end, it would be graceful on your part to admit your fault, express regret, and promise to rectify the error. And even if the complaint is baseless, or the adjustment the claimant seeks is unreasonable, avoid being rude. Politely point out where the fault lies and suggest alternatives in an inoffensive manner. Do not blame others to save your skin. After all, by working in an organization, you have to share the responsibility for the action of a co-worker. Thank the customer for bringing the matter of your to your knowledge. So these are the things which you have to actually keep in mind while framing a adjustment letter. So this kind of a letter is a response to the complaint letter. That is what I can say all in the more simpler term. That is, this is a response to the complaint letter, and you have to be again polite enough when you are framing a adjustment letter, and see that you give a immediate response also to the customer. That will be really graceful and helpful to on both the side to maintain the proper customer and the employer relationship. Then the next type is inquiry letter. Now, a letter of inquiry is written to inquire about a product or services. And while writing an inquiry letter, keep some of the points in your mind, like state clearly and precisely what information you require, whether it's a catalog, some general information, samples, price list, quotations, etc. Ask about the time period the supplier is likely to take in facilitating the order. Seek clarification regarding the mode of payment, discount offer, credit facility, if any, and keep your inquiry brief and to the point. At times, inquiries are also written to find out the status of an order already placed. Sometimes we may like to know when we will get a scholarship for this year, receive our original documents since we have paid all the installments of a car or a house, or when a thesis viva voice will be held. And in all such enquiries, the matter written should be concise, complete, and yet brief. The next type is the permission letter. Now, this is a type of a letter which every college student, where every student has to be thorough with, because permission letter are widely used to send and receive messages of request or to seek or grant permission for utilizing the resources, facilities, or services. And in the business world, you may request the management to grant you the authority to do something or take decision on authority's behalf. The amount of details you need to provide in permission letter will depend on what you are seeking and from whom you are seeking it. So depending on the need, hierarchy, and the relationship, the tone, the length, and the language employed in the permission letter differs. So for instance, if you ask a colleague for permission to share an article, the letter may be very short and informal. However, while requesting for loans, asking for facilities for conducting the experiments, or seeking permission from some author for using his or her copyrighted material, then the letter will have to be written elaborately and worded in a tone explaining the reason for asking for the specific favor. And that is why it depends on the reason exactly, the permission letter. So in the more simpler aspect, I would like to say all permission letter is when you're writing a letter to seek permission to utilize some sort of a facilities or services. Then is the invitation letter. Now, a letter of invitation is sent by an individual or an organization to invite someone to attend an event. An invitation letter can be formal or personal. And a personal invitation letter is usually designed to invite someone and to attend a social event such as birthday party, an engagement ceremony, a wedding party. an anniversary dinner, etc. On the other hand, a formal invitation letter is usually designed to fulfill some organizational or the official interest. Then the next is the rejection letter. Now, a rejection letters are written for decline somebody's request. It could be declining a donation, turning down a request for some favor or facility, or for denying a candidate a job offer. Not all the companies or organizations write rejection letter to candidates who fail to sail through the recruitment process actually. Because however, by writing one we can make a difference. It leaves us in favorable light and the unpleasantness or the sharpness of the refusal, and also eliminates the follow-up inquiries from the anxious candidates. That is why the most of the time the rejection letter is usually written by the higher authority people only when they want to reject some sort of a facility or the proposals which was been sent by the external organization, or any sort of the what they say any sort of the other request or the favor which was being asked by someone, or it might be a donation also. So that time you write usually a rejection letter. Next is the order letter. This letter, as the name suggests, is used for ordering products. This letter can be used as a legal document to show the transaction between the customer and the vendor. So while sending an order letter, accuracy and clarity needs to be ensured. An order letter needs to include some points which can be like an accurate and full description of goods required, quantities of goods required, prices already agreed on between the customer and the supplier, specification of the goods ordered, details regarding delivery requirements, place, date, mode of transport, details regarding terms of payment already agreed on, and a concluding sentence urging the suppliers to send the materials urgently. So order letter, it is used to write, it is written when you are ordering a product. Next is the application letter or the cover letter, as I have explained you all in the special different video only, that is on the job application letter. So in the application letter, it means that you are applying for some position and you're convincing the reader saying that you are the best fit for that position. That is what the application letter is, or the cover letter is. The next one is the sales letter. So among all the business letters, sales letter is one of the interesting type actually, because it has got some kind of a interesting and a unique in their approach and appeal. Sales letters are usually written to advertise and promote a product, and a good sales letter is able to achieve the different objective. It might be the catching the reader's attention and catching a desire, and also carrying a very conviction behavior, that is having created a desire in reader's heart for the product. The next step is to convince him or his authenticity, convince him to purchase that particular goods. And it also makes the closing paragraph which is designed to persuade the reader to take a action. So this is really interesting, and it is formatted in a very precise way. So these are the different types of letters, my dear students. Watch the video and cross check the format which I have sent on the Google Classroom. See you all in the next video with the new content. Thank you. Have a nice day.